Hi everyone, how are you today? Happy Mental Health Awareness Day. Here in South Africa, we have this Mental Health Awareness Day on the 10th of October. And yeah, that's why I'm wearing green in support of this very important day in our South African calendar. And today, in line with the theme, I will be talking about how to maintain a healthy work life balance. So I did make some notes, so please don't mind me when I look to my computer. I will put up what I'm looking at on the side here so that you guys can follow through as I am speaking, right? Because I feel like it is important that we have information that is accurate and that is true, and also that it isn't um, filled with jargon where you have to think about what this word means, where it's simple and understandable for the everyday person. And I think that's what I try to do with my content is to make it relatable. Okay, so let me not keep you waiting. Let's start. And here I've mentioned just what are the key facts of what a work life balance looks like. And I think most of the time, what we understand a work life balance to be is how we're able to juggle our personal life, family, our interests, and our work, our profession, our employment. Sometimes it gets a bit tricky when your personal life and your personal ventures sort of mesh into your work life. And I think most of the people who are working from home are seeing that there's quite a difficulty in telling the difference between work and personal life because you're working from home. You're able to, during working hours, go to the shops. And sometimes you're just always on call on either side where work can message you at 10 p.m. and you're expected to respond because you're working from home. So I think we're living in quite a very tricky time in defining this work life balance. And I think what I've written here is a good work life balance means you can be happy and productive at work and also have time for yourself and your family and your hobbies and your friends. If you are feeling stressed and overwhelmed at work or at home, acknowledge that this is not a sign of weakness and ask for help and support. So I think throughout my talk, I will be mentioning this thing of asking for help. And I think in most of my videos, that's what I've been stressing. Ask for help, be kind to yourself. There's no shame in asking for help ever. Okay. So, a good work life balance means harmony most of the time between your work and your personal life. And harmony doesn't mean everything is okay, but it means that to you're able to address and also cope with the stresses that come from either side. So when you have stresses at work, it shouldn't impact your home life negatively, and vice versa. When you have stresses at home, it shouldn't impact your work life negatively. And that's where the balance comes in, where you're able to be at work and be at home, whether you have stresses or not, but you're able to cope with both those. So it's a juggling game, okay? And sometimes we struggle, and that's okay, but it's about also finding a way to that equilibrium where you're able to still um, just maintain both sides. Okay, in reality, a work life balance is different to everybody. Some people prefer that, if at work you come in at 8, at 5 o'clock, you knock out, you leave work home. You leave work at work, you go home and you address things at home. Work doesn't follow you home. Okay. And then there are other people who are happy to be a bit flexible with their times, where if I'm at work and I need time off, I'm able to then take the time off to go address the things from home. And when I'm at home, I'm able to address the things at work. So there's that flexibility in how you manage your time. And I think we all different. Some people enjoy cutting off the work time and going home and forgetting about it. And some people are actually happy to be able to take work home. So that's why my work life balance is not the same as your work life balance. And so when managing a healthy work life balance is essential for overall well being and productivity. It can be challenging, but with dedication and a few strategies, which I'm going to mention later, you can achieve a healthier balance between your professional and your personal life. So, here are some examples that I've put down that you'll see right here, um, of what a healthy work life balance might look like. So, work related stress doesn't follow you home, disconnecting from work related messages once you're off the clock, feeling energized and excited to come into work, but also feeling excited and energized to go home. I think we can take a minute for that one, because there are so many people who, when the time comes for them to go home, they start getting anxious and they start feeling all these types of anxieties. And we need to acknowledge that not everybody is excited to go home as much as not everybody is excited to go to work. Um, Being able to step away from work to deal with personal matters when necessary, taking time off when you need it, being honest with your manager if things outside the office are impacting your work. This one also, so many people are so afraid to speak to their managers about the things that they are going through. And you'll hear someone say, I can't tell my manager because they'll use it against me, or I can't speak to so and so because they won't understand. And I think those are some of the work situations that people go through that we take for granted. Um, yeah. So here is me talking about the effects of work life imbalance. And I have a quote here by Lauren Lehman from Akeso. And she says, if a healthy work life balance is not restored in time and a person is unable to replenish themselves sufficiently, it can have consequences for mental and physical health. And I think, I mean, we've seen people having a mental breakdown because of the stresses that they have at home or at work. And it's really, it's a huge part of um, some people's lives, where really the one really negatively impacts the other and you're unable to cope. So one of the outcomes caused by excessive stress due to imbalances in your work is burnout. I mean, yeah, so burnout is like the last part of the work life imbalance, but every step towards burnout is as important as the next, because there are points where you can sort of catch it and bring yourself back in. And then there are points where it's really far gone and you have to seek professional help to get yourself back to that balance. Um, and while we're usually aware that most of the time we're under stress, right? You don't always notice the burnout happening. You may get burnt out if you have to focus all your energy on one part of your life. So if you're focusing all your energy on work and not on your personal or your hobbies, or your family, your friends, you are going to go closer on into that burnout stage. as opposed to if you have a balance. Recently, we saw a story about a young lady called Anna, and she, um, may her soul rest in peace, passed away because of the stresses at work and not being able to juggle or have that balance between work and life. And yeah, there are many other stories that we don't know about. And I think that's the scary part is this part of working and being employed is not spoken about, and it's seen as something that we have to endure because we need the job. But um, honestly, we really must choose ourselves at some point and put our mental health and our physical health first. So as you're looking here, there is a picture, and it's about the stresses performance curve. So the green part is talking about when you don't have stress. So stress can be good. Stress can help you, can help motivate you. So when we don't have any stress, when we're just too inactive, too laid back, that could not be good for our productivity. And that's where you see the green. So the green is good, but it can also be negative in a way. Then we have optimum stress, which is the yellow. And the yellow is when we are able to say, okay, I have to get this project done. Let me move. And you have the stress that's motivating you, that's driving you to do things. Then you have the orange, which is more exhaustion, fatigue, where it's too much stress. Now you're overloaded. Now you're thinking, oh my gosh, I've agreed to this, that. I'm guilty of that way. I agree to too many things, and then I've become overloaded with stress and I can't handle it. And that's something I'm working on, because I'm always just so willing to help, or I'm always so willing to take on a project. And I think that's something that we all have to be mindful of, where you really must prioritize the things that you can and you want to do, opposed to the things that you feel like, I don't want to, like, I don't want to make them feel bad or whatever. And then on the red, we have burnout, breakdown, anxiety, panic attacks. That's when you have to go to work, you start having panic attacks, or when you get to work, you can't get out the car. When you go home, you're feeling anxious and you can't get out of bed, or you lock yourself in your room. That's that burnout stage. So yeah, it's a whole curve, and it's something that we must be mindful of, in terms of just our mental well-being and understanding where we lie on the curve. Okay, burnout is usually an extreme form of work-related stress, but sometimes it also can be, caregivers can have burnout when they've just been giving care to someone and they haven't been looking after themselves. They can also have burnout. um, yeah, and then it's a gradual process, so sometimes you don't see it coming until it hits you, but before it hits you there are signs. And I think at that point, when we are in that orange zone, we are really pushing to cope, and we're really pushing to say, I'm okay, I'm fine, I can do this. And that's why I say, ask for help. Ask for help. Do not be afraid to ask for help. Okay. And if excessive stress feels like you're drowning in responsibilities, burnout is a sense of being all dried up. So you just cannot, you just can't, you have no capacity to do anything. And that's when you're burnt out. And I think sometimes because we're able to um, because we're able to fake it so well, sometimes we don't see it coming. um, so burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive or prolonged stress. It occurs when you feel overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and unable to meet constant demands. As the stress continues, you begin to lose the interest and motivation that led you to take on certain role in the first place. That's from helpguide.org. So it's like you feel empty and mentally exhausted, devoid of motivation beyond caring. You just, it's okay. If it doesn't work out, it's fine. I don't even have the energy to care about the consequences, right? Effects of work life imbalance. So, picture there's the stress and the burnout. So, you put too much effort in, that's when you're stressed. Burnout, it's hard to put any effort in. You feel your emotions more strongly, that's stress. Your emotions feel blunted, like don't exist. You feel hyperactive and anxious, that's stress. You feel drained and helpless, that's burnout. You have less energy, stress. You have less motivation. So you may have the energy sometimes, but there's just no motivation to do anything. It takes a physical toll on you with stress, and with burnout, it's an emotional toll. So, how can you work towards a balanced work life? That's why we're here, right? Um, and then pro tip: don't expect to be able to do the things that I'm about to talk about all at once. It's about pacing yourself, being patient with yourself. Give yourself time, be kind to yourself, and also remember, ask for help. There's no shame in asking for help. So accept that it won't be perfect. It just it will never be perfect. That's life. And we have to at times accept that about our lives, and that it will be a winding road. Um, and give yourself grace as you figure out what balance looks like for you and how you can get closer to achieving it in your personal and work life. So, like I said earlier, work life balance looks different for all of us. So give yourself time to work out what it looks like for you and how you can then get yourself there. And even when you think you've figured it all out, there will always be days where it's a little harder, and that's okay. Do not um, do not shame yourself for having days where you can't get out of bed, or having days where you can't talk to someone, like look after yourself. At this point, you need to self preserve and find a way to get yourself to a healthy place. And there'll be tomorrow where you can start again and try again. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Um, okay, set your priorities. At times, it may feel like you're being pulled in 20 different directions, both personally and professionally. And when you're seeing that I'm getting burnt out, or I'm getting to a level where I'm maybe burnt out, set your priorities. This is what I can do, this is what I can't do, this is what I want to do, this is what I need to do, and figure out what you can let go of and do that. Do not be afraid to let go of some things, because at this point in time you're trying to get yourself into a balanced place. So please work on figuring out what works for you. Write a list of all the things that matter to you, your priorities, and then figure out a strategy on how to use your time in such a way that you are putting some time for your health, and also trying to get these tasks done. When your to do list seems too long or unmanageable, evaluate and prioritize. Set goals. Set goals. Set goals for your workday, for your home time. Ensure that you are setting smart goals, which are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. So those are smart goals, and I think you can just go and research what smart goals are to help you better better make those set your goals, because sometimes when you don't have goals, you just feel like you're just doing things for the sake of doing them. So it helps when you've set a target for yourself to say, okay, this is the goal I want to achieve. Then there's, when you have a goal, you have to have a plan. And that helps you manage your time better. It also helps you figure out what really matters and what you can let go of. Set boundaries. This is for everybody, no matter whether you are going through something or not. But learn to set boundaries where you are able to say, sorry, after 5, I do not attend to work messages. I will respond in the morning. And they must know, there's some, if you look at your workplace, there are people who are just known that if you email them after a certain time, you'll get a response tomorrow, and everybody's okay with it. But with you, you feel the need to respond, and everybody knows you will always be on call. And I think it is just about learning how to set your boundaries, even at home, where when I'm at work, please, unless it's an emergency, please let's keep communication to a minimal. I think it's not about being harsh or being mean, but it's about being able to set your boundaries. And that's just a life lesson for everything, and anything you go into. You need to be able to set and maintain your boundaries, and not feel guilty. Don't feel guilty about setting your boundaries. And by that, I will segue into learning to say no. Don't say yes to everything because you're afraid to disappoint someone, or you're afraid that, oh my gosh, now they will think I'm lazy. Learn to say no. And that's part of setting your boundaries. Declining a request for help can be especially hard if you feel like you're maybe letting your boss down, or your colleague, or even a family member. However, if you genuinely want to create a more balanced lifestyle, you have to start making the most of the power of no. Every time you say yes at work for extra work, then they know that if there's extra work, you're the man to call, or the woman. And I think we need to be able to, even if you have already been saying yes, you can always start to say no. There's never a time where you're like, I'm too far gone. No, you can start saying no. You can start teaching people how to treat you. There's that thing where you teach people how to treat you. You can start anytime teaching people at work and at home how to treat you. And at first, there might be some resistance, but people learn quickly and they will oblige because you are enforcing the boundaries. Okay. And so I've got some phrases that you can say when you want to say no in a gracious way. And so one of the ones is, unfortunately I'm at capacity. That's a beautiful one. I was planning on focusing on X instead. So I was planning on focusing on this task that I have for myself instead. Sorry. I don't have the bandwidth at the moment. That's a nice work one, that I've heard people talking about bandwidth. While I'd love to say yes, my plate is full. I'm going to have to pass, is another one. Let me check my availability. This one is perfect because you don't have to say no right away, but let me check my availability and get back to you. And then you can come back and say, I'm sorry, I'm at capacity, or I'm sorry, I have something scheduled at that time. So that really, for those people who feel guilty or ashamed to say no right away, you can say that. I can't help you with this, but I'll support you in other ways. So I can't help you right now with this, but I can support you in other ways, and maybe think of things that you can do that are within your capacity. Or if you are someone who's really worked hard at their time, no, thank you. So this can work for mainly work, but also I think you can use it um, in your social and personal life as well. And then schedule personal time in your calendar. This is like if you want to go to the gym, if you Saturdays, I'm going on a hike, schedule it each month. So what I have is a group of ladies. We go hiking once a month at the beginning. First Saturday of every month, we go hiking. That's something I started because I enjoy hiking and I was alone. And I think that's something that is in my calendar. If I really, really must cancel, then I do. But I try to schedule everything around that. On that one Saturday, there's nothing else that I do except go on that hike in the morning, come home, relax, sleep, just recuperate, energize myself. So yeah, so if, for example, you can also schedule, personal time in your calendar for family. It's not just on work, where family knows that at this particular time we don't disturb mommy or daddy or auntie or sister or brother, and they are busy because this is their time. So you really need to enforce that within yourself and those around you, to know that there are times that you are just unavailable, and you stick to that and don't have any shame in that. We always have so much shame in putting ourselves first. Do not feel shameful about that. That is a part of you maintaining a healthy work life balance and maintaining a healthy mental state. And then, um, remember, one day at a time. One day at a time. You won't get it all right all at once, and you won't get it right in your first attempt. So there's some times where you'll schedule something and you don't go. That's fine. Don't beat yourself up about it. Next time you'll go. Or you have said yes when you meant to say no. It's okay to go back and say, actually, you know what? I agreed to this, but to be honest, I can't. I'm so sorry. Please, can maybe we try find someone else who can help you. It's okay to to put yourself first and take it as it comes, and take it one day at a time. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. I cannot stress this enough. We show kindness to so many people around us at work and at home, and we never show kindness to ourselves, or we struggle to be kind to ourselves. Speak to yourself like someone you love. Speak to yourself like someone you care for. Be kind to you, and you'll be able to make decisions that are working for your mental and physical well-being, and you will strive and reach that work-life balance. So yeah, I would love it if you could like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel, please. I will be doing more videos, hopefully being able to upload each week. And yeah, thank you so much for getting to this point, and hoping we can have more discussions. Leave a comment at the comment section. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video. But thank you so much for your time. I would yeah, enjoy your mental health awareness day, and put your mental health first, put yourself first, and lastly, be kind to yourself. Goodbye.